This is what I was telling you about my master thesis, that I wanted to study exactly this kind of thing. This is, I started off commenting that the situation in Brazil is that these three groups, they are the traditional, they are seen as tradition, ritual, and religion. And in 1986, the Brazilian government did a big community, and together with scientists, they evaluated the groups, they sat together in the table of negotiations, and they decided that they would give permission to religious and ritual uses. So temporarily and in a not so stable base, but relatively stable, these groups got this code, you know, they said, we are here. And what happened is that a lot of groups started to be born. Like, because when these religions arrived in the big cities, you imagine some city like São Paulo, it's like New York, everything happens here, right? So you get these religions from the Amazon, and they just start, you know, making partnerships with all sorts of traditions and all sorts of references, from Oriental, from holistic therapies, from like arts, a lot of people involved in theater, in music, and even other things like people that have charity work for homeless people. And they start to develop ayahuasca uses. So my book, my thesis was on that, was about this liminarity, these groups that I named them. It was a title that I invented for my research, neo-ayahuasqueros, the new users of ayahuasca, new urban users of ayahuasca. And the main characteristic of these uses, it would be like an ambiguity, because on the one side, they are the children, they are the inherited, you know, of this main, above all, Daime and UDV, because Barquinha stayed there in Acre and didn't spread a lot. So it didn't have a lot of influence in the national scenario. And so they are their continuity with this tradition, which itself represents itself also as a continuity with the indigenous use of ayahuasca. But on the other side, they are criticizing these religions the same way these religions criticized hegemonic Catholicism. So they say, no, these religions, they already have a bureaucracy, they have already got power issues, they have, you know, already a mediated relationship of the individual to power. So we are doing a new version that is a best, you know, version. But on the other side, we don't want to cut off completely with them, because or else we would be like homeless too, you know, we have no, we don't want to be like the newborn. And this is a little bit ambiguous, the legal status of that, because if you have a legislation that authorizes only religious and ritual use of ayahuasca, then the next question is, what is religion?
Right, how do you define it?
What is a ritual? And what is the role of the anthropologist in this? Are we supposed to be like the judges that are going to give, you know, official certificate, religion, birth? Is the state the one who can recognize religion? Like you have state because it's circular. You see, to prove that you are religious, you have to prove that you are traditional. You have to do certain kind of rituals, but you can only do them if you are traditional.
Well, this wouldn't be an issue if the use of the plants weren't involved, right?
Sorry?
Well, it wouldn't be that big a concern for the government unless it involved the use of ayahuasca and these other plants. I mean, that's the